Well, I'll be darned.
Oh, you sound like JR already. Jeez. Did you see the thing he said this on his podcast or no?
No. I don't watch podcasts.
Well, he doesn't.
Bro.
I don't listen to JR's podcast either, but he was like talking shit about how like suicide dives are dumb. Because like there you guys are, all standing there, friend and enemy, just waiting for someone to come at you. And he was like, DDT should be a fucking finisher, and super kicks should be finishers. What are you saying? Guys today don't know how to throw them because they just get right back up. Like, so are they more
Sounds to me like he's Grandpa McBitch Pants.
I don't know. I kind of half agree with him because like I think suicide dives are fucking dumb.
They're dumb when they're done wrong.
They're dumb when they're done every match, and it's really annoying.
Well, yeah, that's 100% the people's fault for doing them constantly. Yes. I agree. When I'm on a show and I see 10 other people do suicide dives, I don't do it. But if I see nobody doing suicide dives, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that was his thing. But you know what? It's not
also
wrestling.
DDTs. I get DDTs were finishers back in the day, but athletes have evolved. They're stronger, bigger,
smarter. I get too. Like I heard that argument. I was like, I get that. But also like paradigm shift looks cool because you're underhooking, and then they have no way to defend themselves. You know, like
yeah, and that's there you go. That's a finisher.
Yeah,
like,
that looks cool. But like a normal ass standing one, I'd be like, I get it. We were actually going over guillotines yesterday in class, and our coach specifically said, "Don't DDT somebody into the ground." And I was like, "Well, then how am I not gonna win? Why would I not do that?" Like,
yeah. And then with super kicks, I mean, all it is a side kick, and we see those in MMA every so often. And generally, 9 out of 10 times, even if a side kick hits pretty hard, it doesn't knock someone out. I'm just saying.
Well, true. Yeah, I know. It's just like he was like, "Well, how come everyone was either weak back then, or is everyone weak now? Who's throwing them?" Oh, but he is being old Grampy JR and Gurr.
Yeah.
Go back to being horny JR on Twitter. It's funnier.
Strong agree.
Did you ever see like, he just like randomly likes like Twitter porn and people are just like JR? You know people could see that? He just goes like, whatever. Like
whatever.
He doesn't give a shit.
You know what? I respect that answer. Whatever.
All right, Aaron, we here with these Final Fantasy hosts.
I'll final your fantasy, baby girl.
Gross.
Mwah.
I'm keeping all that in, by the way, even if it's not wrestling. It's fine. All right, so we have.
We say we talk wrestling every so often, so.
I mean, you're the one that was like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm in the business, guys, so like, I know. And then you're like, let's never talk about wrestling ever.
Well, that's because wrestling sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's fake, dumb. Anyway, are we gonna do this in order, or are we gonna do this how they are?
That's up to you. What do you want to do? What the fuck is 12RW?
I don't know. I'm looking at what's 4AF.
Dude, it's 4 as fuck.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, I was like, oh, Advent Children. I'm like, wait, that's 7 and that's also an F, not a V.
All right, I'm looking up.
Yeah, can you look up what 4...
Like 13, the 13 ones I get, because that's Lightning Returns.
Yeah,
I don't know why I know that, but...
But also, where's 10-2? Oh, 10-2's here.
It's there.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to have to...
Final Fantasy 12... Oh, I think it's like Resonant Wings or some shit like that. It's a Game Boy game.
Yeah,
Revenant Wings. It's a DS game.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
It's a real-time tactical RPG? Fuck, I need to play that.
You also need to play Pokemon Conquest still.
I do.
That is honestly like your dream game, even though I'm mad at Pokemon right now.
Final Fantasy 4, what is it? Where's
AF. 4AF, bro.
4 is fuck.
Yeah, so we're going to be...
it's called After Years. Final Fantasy 4, the After Years.
After Years, that's AF and not AY, so that's wrong.
Originally released as a sequel to 4, originally released in Japan as a mobile game. An enhanced WiiWare port of the title was released in North America, Europe, and Japan in 2009. In 2011, the game was bundled with 4 as part of the PSP Final Fantasy 4 Complete Collection.
I didn't know that.
I think you should add an unknown.
All right.
At the bottom.
So we're pretty much going to preview. We're not going to put anything in F, we know, right?
The only thing that might go in F would be
actually,
13.
I lied.
Even that, I personally would be putting D.
No,
but
we'll talk when we get there. All right. So
that's fine.
F. I'll just leave it as a lowercase f, and then so row below is going to be like no fucking idea.
Yeah, just unknown, which will probably be like the 13 sequels because I don't think either of us have played it. Revenant Wings and
All right. So
after years.
I guess we'll go in order, but you're gonna have to help me with some of these. Like I can see the Roman numerals pretty well. Let's start with 1, Aaron.
Oh man, 1 for me is like, I don't want to overrate it because like, don't get me wrong, like it's a good game.
Yeah.
But like, if you play it now, if you're not older and you haven't played older RPGs like before like today's RPGs, it doesn't hold up. But like, if you're used to kind of like the older RPG style, it's a good game.
Well, so here's the thing: which version of 1? Because there's one on NES, there's one on PS1, there's one on Game Boy Advance, there's one on mobile, there's one on Steam.
That's true.
So like,
like for NES for me, I'd put closer to C. But then if you get like the PlayStation one, I'd be more in B. So I'm kind of stuck between C plus B minus area.
Okay.
I don't know, have you played any of them?
I mean, so I've started one a couple times, but it was also like on a jailbroken iPod Touch. So like,
okay, that's fair.
I never played like Final Fantasy 1 and beat it, but I've started
the Game Boy Advance ones. The Game Boy Advance one's one of the better ones in my opinion.
I think the PS1 version is like similar to the Game Boy Advance one.
Yeah, the PS1 and Game Boy Advance ones are the ones that I've beaten because I've beaten the game twice.
Yeah, so I mean, look, from what I've played, I'd probably put it in B tier, but I haven't gotten far enough in it to actually like say whether or not it's a good game. The only thing that kind of sucks is I think red mages are worthless.
Yeah, I don't really use them. I generally kept a party of a black mage, a white mage, usually a fighter boy, and then a roguey rogue or a thief, whatever it is. And I think it's a thief in Final Fantasy.
Be that basic bitch warrior class. A.
Yeah.
That's always my move because I'm dumb. So there.
I think it's like a high C, low B area. I think keeping it in B is fine because like again it pretty much made the franchise because I'm sure you know this. I'm sure 99% of people who listen to this would know this, but it literally was called Final Fantasy because it was supposed to be the last game that studio ever made.
Yeah. Actually, it's not the final one, so why did they call it Final Fantasy? This is dumb.
Exactly.
Fucking yeah, that joke gets old real fast. I think B is fine for like a baseline.
Just to start. I mean, if we need to move it to C, we can, but it'd be bottom of B, top of C in my opinion. Like, it's a solid game, and I recommend anyone who's played a Final Fantasy and enjoys it to at least give it a shot because it is the roots of the series. You'll be familiar with a lot of the stuff in it. There's not a lot of direction, so you really need to pay attention to the dialogue because that's literally how you figure out what the fuck you're doing because there's no go do this quest. It doesn't tell you what to do. It's old RPG. You got to go explore and figure it out.
See that everyone knows I have no shame in using a guide when it comes to RPGs because I get lost and if I put it down for a day or two I'm like what was I doing?
Where the fuck am I?
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Like that was Dragon Quest problem. But so I guess actually a good template. So like compared to Dragon Warrior, when that came out, like would you rather play Dragon Warrior or would you rather play Final Fantasy? Because like those are like the two NES RPGs, like the big ones.
Yeah.
You know? Like I personally would rather play Dragon Warrior, but it doesn't have a party and it's way more basic.
Yeah, for me it's Final Fantasy just because like I've played and beaten that game twice. I really enjoy it. I know there's issues. There's big issues with the game, but it's also like a product of its time. I would definitely recommend avoiding the NES one. The NES one is like a lot of NES games, hard just for the sake of being hard. Like it's overly, it's overly fucking hard. The PS1 and Game Boy Advance one definitely scale it back a little bit. It's still really hard at certain points, but it's I think it's a lot more fair in those games. I think there's times in the NES version, which is why I never beat the NES version, where the game just gets unfair. Like if you're gonna beat it, you have to go grind for hours on end, and it's just not worth it.
That's how old RPGs are, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like I don't hold it against it, but it's why I'd put the NES version as a more of a like high C and the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance one as a low B.
Fair. We'll leave it there for now. Do we have to do our obligatory Final Fantasy 2? This is the Japan 2, not the American 2. Do we have to go over that, or do you think people will fucking realize? I hate that every time people talk about Final Fantasy, they have to do that, so now I had to do it.
No, obviously. We're going over... We're obviously just putting it in, like, what the official now time fucking shit is.
Because it's not like the fucking 90s anymore, and y'all need to get over it. Exactly. Alright, so 2-2. I haven't played 2-2, so I don't know.
So...
I heard it's not good.
I've beaten 2 once. It was the Game Boy Advance one, because I had the Game Boy Advance that was 1 and 2 together.
Yep.
I think it's like Origins or whatever.
Because
that's the PS1 game version of it.
I was going to go grab it, but that's far.
Yeah, it's in the other room for me. I have it somewhere. I waffle back and forth whether I like it more or less than 1.
You waffle?
But I guess I'd have...
Is that the phrase you used? You waffle?
Flip-flop. Yeah,
you waffle it? That's not a phrase. It's a phrase nobody uses.
I know, but I do, because
okay, sure.
I am different. I stand out from the crowd.
Stand from the crowd, all right? No problem. Sure, dude.
Well, yeah, because if I cough, everyone runs away now because I have COVID.
Oh, yes, right.
See? So I stand out from the crowd. See, I didn't lie. Oh.
Sorry.
Anyways. But I guess I'd have to say I like 1 more because I've beaten it twice and I've only beaten 2 once. Like, I guess that's what I'd have to say. I think 2 fixes a lot of issues of 1, but then has its own dumb issues. Just like, I don't know.
Experimenting.
Yeah, I feel like they knew, like, they didn't expect to get this game. So, like, they're like, what can we change? What can we add? What can we fuck around with?
Mm-hmm.
It's still, for me, in that high C, low B area, but I think high C is fine.
Okay. I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't.
I think it's a solid game. I think definitely it should be on your randomizer to eventually play.
Every game that I own is on my randomizer to play. You idiot.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't see what I was playing this morning, man.
I did not, because I was sleeping, because I'm old.
Oh, your camera's over here. I don't know if you can see it from there.
I just see GameCube.
It's tiny. Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader.
Dude, that's a fun game.
It's a fun game. I just almost died in the first mission I did die a lot.
Oh, God.
So anyway.
It's a hard game, but it's a fun game.
It is a good game. I'm going to probably go back to it. But anyway.
But yeah, so
is there a party or job system in 2? I feel like that was the thing. Could be wrong.
I'm trying to remember. It was a while ago that I played it. It's very similar to 1. It's very Explorer. The graphics are a little better, but they're basically the same.
They're all 8-bitty sprites, right?
Yeah. I think the party system's a little more like complex for no reason. I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. I think that's why it'll annoy the fuck out of you.
Cool.
The story's a little bit more streamlined, where it's like, do this, they'll tell you where to go. Do this, they'll tell you where to go. There's a little less exploration, which I think would be good for you with like what you said, but also makes it like less fulfilling when you do beat it comparative to 1.
Are there characters that are set, or is it like make yourself again?
I don't remember. I think it's make yourself again. Honestly, dude, nice. The last time I played it, and this is why I'll give 1 credit, is like I have a little bit more memories of it, and I've replayed it kind of recently. Last time I played 2, I think was high school.
Oh, all right. Then.
And I'm old, so that was like 10 years ago.
Then I guess we'll make our swift jump into 3. I have a personal connection to 3, but I don't know if that counts as being a good game.
What's your personal connection? Is this the... Explain.
Alright. Well, first of all, I played 3 on DS, which I know is not the best port of 3. I think the encounter rate is like stupid high on it. And it was a problem. But I had a connection to 3 because it was one of the ones where you can name yourself. So I had me, my buddy, Tina, and whatever. And we were...
okay, you told me about this.
Yeah, so I told you. I don't want to tell you again. But, like, 3 is not great, at least on DS. The story is kind of bland. A lot of it was a big old grind fest. It's not a bad Final Fantasy, but it wasn't...
So there's certain games that I just barely remember, and not all of them are bad, because, like, I'm going to piss off a bunch of people, but I barely remember 6, but I also played it forever ago.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so, like, I know I've played it. I've played through it once. again, I went through a huge Final Fantasy phase in high school, like middle school, high school, because I played Final Fantasy X in like 6th or 7th grade, whatever it was, the first time I ever played it, and I fell in love with that game. So like after I beat that, I went through and played like every Final Fantasy that was out at the time. So like I don't really remember this game, dude.
Yeah, it's
like,
not that memorable.
I remember playing through it. I remember I had a good enough time when I beat it. Like, it wasn't spectacular, it wasn't awful. It was just like a middle of the line game, like just like a straight up like
very
C.
Yeah,
just straight up C. Like, it's not special. I don't feel like I wasted my time playing the game, but I definitely don't feel like I gained anything out of it.
That's true. We'll live with C because it's again. I don't remember shit about 3 other than is this the one with the spoony bard thing?
Dog, 3 through 6 is gonna piss people off. 3 through 6.
Oh, good.
I played them and I mixed them up all the time. One of my friends, the dude I was playing Final Fantasy 14 with, would give me shit like, "Oh, you've never played 6. If you played 6, you would remember it." And I'm like, "Dog, I played 3 through 6 all within the same year, and this was over 10 years ago. They all blend together to me at this point."
That's fair. I'll try to remember what I can because I know 4. There's 4. 4 I'm gonna put right. I want to put it as an A. I love 4. Kane is a cool character. I like that
one. Okay, I'm trying to remember which is which because I mixed them all. Even though it's like literally one of my my second favorite series, I've only played majority of the games one time all the way through. So they all mix up.
RPGs are long. Like you don't really want to play them many times. This is Persona for you, like a crazy person.
Persona or Final Fantasy X. I've only played through that game about 13 times.
It's too many times. But no, Kane is a cool character, even though he was like kept getting corrupted and betrays you 50 times in that game. I thought the story was a lot better. I also thought, what are they called? Are they called Dragon Knights? The guys that do the jump ability? I can't remember.
They're basically Lancers, aren't they?
Yeah, kind of. I always thought they were a cool class. I like when RPGs have characters that are set, but that's me.
That are what? Sorry, you.
They're like set. They're like not making me like because I want to tell the story to somebody else.
No. So that's the one thing that like Persona kind of annoys me about, but they're not as bad because like all you really do is name your character. You don't create a character, but they're still kind of like
they have their thing,
voiceless character. But they all have their own personality. But like, I love it when a game is like, again, like Final Fantasy. Most of their games is just like you play as this main character, and they have their own personality, their own dialogue. You don't choose that; you just play the game. I think RPGs that do that and like make that choice are generally some of my more favorites. Though I like games where you can create your own character, like Dragon Age and stuff, but it just kind of makes the main character more bland.
Yeah, I get that.
They have I feel like both sides have their like benefits and drawbacks, but if I had to choose one, I would choose where like all the characters have their own thing and you don't you don't customize or create it besides like maybe like a skill tree, like obviously basic RPG shit.
Yeah. So
I'm cool with A. Once you said which one it was and I had to think about it, I was like, yeah, this one, I think from 3 through 6, I think 4 was my favorite of those.
Okay.
It was a really good game. I know a lot of people would put 4 or 6 in S tier, but I think A is fair for 4.
That's cool. 5. I don't know anything about 5.
Unknown. I don't remember fucking thing unless you start naming some characters in it. I don't remember a thing.
I only heard one person I know of talk about 5, and that was a guy I used to work with, and he swears that 5 is the best one, but like, I don't know anyone that talks about 5 ever. Like 5 is like it might as well never happen.
When I hear about 5, it's generally good things. Like I never really hear like, oh, 5's bad, but you don't hear people talk about it. I think based off of that, like obviously we're gonna leave it unknown because I played it once forever ago and don't remember it, and I don't think you've ever played it.
Let me look up who 5 has as a character. Maybe it'll jog your memory.
But like, from what I remember about people talking about it and stuff, I would probably say it's a solid B tier game because
Bart's like Klauser. Nothing for you?
No.
All right, so yeah, we'll leave it there. I guess there's a big job system in this one. That's why it was
automatic F for Kev.
No, so like I don't mind if it's well done, but like
I know. I just like picking on you.
I know. That's like the thing everyone does. I get it. Kev's bad. Fuck you.
It's because you have thick skin, and you're fun to pick on.
I have thick skin, and then when the stream ends, I start crying. I go in the shower. Tina's like, "You're wasting all the fucking water. Can you stop crying in the shower?" And I go, "But when I'm in the shower, you can't tell if it's my tears or just water. So this is great. So it works out." It's fine.
Beautiful.
All right, so Final Fantasy V is staying unknown for now. Did this one come with Chrono Trigger or 4? I can't remember. I think 6 and Chrono Trigger are in the same case.
I think so.
I have them literally over there. I could go look, but I'm not gonna.
I own all of them. So it's funny that Chris did this because Chris and I were supposed to a while back, but way before we did this podcast. I think it was right around the time I first started watching you on Twitch and we started reconnecting. Chris and I were gonna start doing a playthrough of every Final Fantasy in order for YouTube.
That would take forever.
Oh yeah, no, that was the plan. It was just gonna be a thing that we did. But then life happened, so we stopped. But we got about 3/4 of the way through one before life got in the way. And I still want to do that with someone. I just because there's so much I don't remember about a bunch of them, and it is my second or third favorite series of all time. So I really want to just play through all of them with someone who hasn't played through a bunch of them or doesn't know as much about them.
It's me.
Which is why Chris is great.
It's me. I do it.
I mean, dog, if we could figure it out, it doesn't have to be something that we do weekly, like the podcast.
How do we even do it though? That's the question.
Just over the way Chris and I were doing it. So Chris was doing audio only anyways, but we were just you and I can do it. We could literally do it kind of like the podcast.
Or we just one of us is commentating as you're all right, do this.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we did it. We were deciding so we decided ahead of time he'd play 1, I'd play 2, he'd play 3.
Oh, that could
but there's certain so there's certain ones that he'd play and I'd play. It wasn't exactly back and forth because at the time, he had never played 10. I wanted him to play 10. I still haven't played 9. I was going to play 9. I was going to play 8 and he was going to play 7. So I was going to go 7 him. Then I was going to do 8 and 9. Then he was going to do 10 and 12 or something like that. But we were going to we did it. We figured out ahead of time which ones we wanted to play. And then it was just going to be us commentating and bullshitting over it.
Okay. Yeah, that could work.
I mean, if you ever want to do it, I've been wanting to do this forever because 1, I want to go through all the Final Fantasies again. 2, I want to get other people's reactions to the game. 3, it's just funny to do stuff with friends. And 4, it was really funny because this was the Scott Stapp memes that Chris and I do have been going on since then because we literally named the characters Stapp, Oms, AHMS, Wad, WAD, and Opon. That was the 4 characters' names. So we've been doing the Scott Stapp memes forever. That's why it had to be in my Twitch channel.
Well, yeah, I mean that'll do it. I love the stat. Also, is the stat command back?
Yes. That one's back. I can't do Rickroll because right when the DMCA stuff started happening and all that. The only videos of mine that ever got in trouble were either MLB The Show, which had music in it because I didn't turn it off, or I played music in the background, and all the ones that people Rickrolled each other in my stream.
Dumb. Big dumb. All right, so 5.
So I had to get rid of that command, sadly.
Big sad. 6, I want to put right there.
I can't argue it. I mean
6 is fucking good.
I personally would put it high A, but I mean S is fine.
I got that Kefka laugh stuck in my head, man. He's such a good villain. The characters.
I feel like there's let's see. 4 games I want to put in S personally, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
I actually would have been 3 because I would have put this in A, but it would have pissed off a lot of people. So S is fine.
No, pissing a lot of people's not. That's their problem. Fuck them. They can leave comments and be angry. But
I 100% agree that like it is. Like the characters are amazing, the story's good. Like I don't know, I still mix it up with a bunch of the other games though. I told you 3 through 6 is just for some reason.
Well, yeah, because you banged them out all in one little sitting, but like,
yeah.
The only issue I have with 6 is there's way too many characters. There's a lot, and the problem is Final Fantasy loves doing it. Where naturally, when I play an RPG, I'm like, okay, I like these characters. I want to use these characters. And the end of the game comes and goes, I hope you fucking made everyone good because it's time to split up the party. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Ugh.
Like,
I hate when games do that. Like, I understand it because they have the party. Because that's funny that you said that because Anitra just beat Dragon Age Origins the other day.
Oh yeah, when your computer broke. Trust me, I was there. I remember.
She's on her way through the series. She's on Dragon Age 2 now, absolutely hating it.
Is it really that bad though?
So
you've already said like it's not.
I think if you play it separately, it's fine. But like, so many people, and rightfully so, consider Dragon Age Origins a masterpiece. Like, there's issues with the game, but the game overall is one of the best games ever.
Okay.
To a lot of people, and if you go from that to Dragon Age 2 immediately, like back to back, it's going to show the problems with 2 very, like, there's going to be glaring issues. Now, I played Origins, and then I didn't play 2 for, like, a couple years later.
Okay.
Because it wasn't out yet. So, like, I had a break in between. So, like, the game is fine on its own. But when you play them back-to-back and compare them, Dragon Age 2 is literally a dumpster fire compared to Origins.
Okay.
So...
No.
She's not having fun at all, but she wants to grind through because she knows Inquisition's fun.
Deal. So 6. Say something about characters, and then moving on Dragon Age train.
Oh yeah. Because the end of Dragon Age Origins, you have she luckily was aware ahead of time because I told her, but literally on the final fucking mission, they're just like, you have to split your party into 2 groups. One group stays here, and then you take the other group and go and do a bunch of missions. Oh, but then halfway through the final battle, you're just going to switch to your other group. I hope you've been leveling them up and putting some gear on them because you have to fight a giant-ass dark fucking...
Can you go back and grind, or no?
Absolutely not. Not at that point.
So, like, now I got to remember that when I play Dragon Age.
Yeah, at that point, you cannot. It's literally, like, basically, you're in the final battle... you're doing like little separate missions in the final battle, and then so Dragon Age has this is a Final Fantasy podcast, but we started with wrestling. Now we're talking about Dragon Age.
Whatever.
Dragon Age has an inventory like limit. You can make it bigger by buying backpacks throughout the story, but like there's a limit. So I would always everything I wasn't using, I'd throw to my junk section and then sell at like shops immediately every chance I get. But I wasn't putting gear on my older people. The other people get experience out of your party a little less, so like the levels will be fine. But the issue for me and other people is like I wasn't putting gear on them because you can't put gear on people that aren't in your party unless you're in your main camp or they're in your party. So I wasn't putting gear on them throughout the game because I had my set people I used. So then the end of the game, I had like an empty inventory because I only had the stuff that was on my main people. And then all my other people had like level 1 / whenever they joined gear, and I had nothing I could put on them. So like, it took me quite a few tries to beat that because I had to do like tactics thinking and expert like maneuvering and shit like to fucking get through
stuck?
it. Make sure you have an older save to go back to at least put gear on them.
All right, well I'll make note of that when I play Dragon Age.
Basically, all you got to remember to do is, before you sell all your extra gear every time, is go to your party camp, which there's a merchant in your party camp, so that's where you can sell your shit anyways, and go through your inventory, because in party camp, you can look at every single character in your, like, group, and make sure you just keep equipping all people, like, everyone in your party with better armor and equipment as, like, you go, and you'll be fine, because...
Okay.
They gain experience as you play anyways. They might be a level or 2 behind, but they'll be high enough level to beat the area. Because it's just one area. It's one section. It took Anitra 5 minutes to beat it because she kept giving her people gear like I told her to.
Mm-hmm.
before the final battle. Well, she didn't do it the whole game, but before the final battle she did, and you'll know when it's about to be the final battle. The game's like, yo, we're about to go fight the fucking archdemon. Let's go. So like you'll know when it's the final battle. So you just want to make sure you equip your people, but with like decent gear before then. But I didn't, because I didn't expect them to split the party, because they didn't do anything like that through a fucking what I played and did all the side missions, 50+ hours of gameplay, because I did all the side shit because I was obsessed with that game.
Gotcha.
But they never did that before, so I was like, yeah, this is fine. My party's gonna fuck shit up. And then they were like, oh yeah, it's split up. And I'm like, wait, what? And then they were like, halfway through, they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be them. And I'm like, the fuck you just say? So that was interesting. But yeah, it literally is a 5-minute thing that took me about 3 hours to beat, because I had like, literally I'd have to like run my people away because 2 hits and they were dead. Because they didn't have the gear.
Makes sense. All right.
But yeah, so splitting your party up, like you were saying, that's what brought that whole thing on. Fucking sucks.
I hate it, yeah. Let's see. 7.
I could put 7 in low S, high A, personally.
I mean, I could put it in A. I don't know if I'd put it in S.
7, so...
I don't know. It's like a good game.
You got it. So I'm very big on saying 7 is one of the most overrated games in video game history.
Doesn't mean bad.
But 7 literally changed the genre.
Yeah.
At the time, 7 was a huge breakthrough. Granted, if you go back and play the PS1 7 now, you'll laugh at the way it looks. But at the time, oh boy.
No, Popeye arms, man. I love that shit. It's awesome. I mean, 7 was a big deal.
Like, 7's the reason I got into this. So I actually didn't play 7 then, but 7's the reason I got into the series, watching one of my neighbors play Final Fantasy. And I guess it was like right after 8 came out, but he was playing 7. So like I watched him play 7, and I was like, I need to play Final Fantasy. That looks sick as fuck. And I went and got 8 and was really confused because it wasn't the same, which I still love 8, but we'll get there in a minute. Yep. But I personally, like, I don't think you can put it below 4. I think it has to at least be above 4.
Above 4 and not on the same plane?
Like, we are ordering them in the tier, aren't we?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot. You're right.
Like, so like
restaurant level.
Yeah. I personally put it like A+, S- territory. The characters, though most of them are edgy emo boys, they're very memorable.
Yeah,
everyone knows cool Cloud and Sephiroth. I mean, I agree, but everyone knows Cloud and Sephiroth. Like, fucking, they're both in fucking Smash at this point.
Yup.
I think Final Fantasy VII, though it's been spoiled at this point, everyone knows it now, has one of the bigger, like, sad twists in the middle of a game that a lot of people weren't expecting at the time. Like, if you go into that game completely blind, like that's a fucking that's a heart wrencher right there for a lot of people.
It would have been. See, I didn't get to experience that because when I played 7, I knew. So I knew going into 7. We're just gonna say it because look, you have your chance.
It's been so many years at this point.
Some people are like, but the remake came out, and some people haven't played it. Great, okay, so mute this for 30 seconds. Them. Yeah. I knew Aerith was gonna die. Oh, hello, Nitra.
I can't hear you. All right, we'll talk after. We're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
She came in to tell me she hates Dragon Age 2 after we just, I just ranted about it. She's like, I hate this game.
Oh, that's mean. But like, I knew Aerith was gonna die, so I didn't put any experience or time or equipment on her. Yeah. So like for me, I was just like, okay, that was a great cutscene. So maybe
but you gotta think about when this game came out, like, fucking people were like, oh yo, Aerith's dope. Fuck, I want to use her. And then just halfway through the game, or it wasn't even, what is it? Like,
it was the end of disc 1. Disc 3 is just Sephiroth. That's really all that fight is. It's a waste of a CD, honestly.
So, like, it's insanely, like, so that twist for me is pretty much as big as, like, what a lot of people consider the biggest twist in all of gaming, which is Knights of the Old Republic.
Right.
So, like, that alone, like, that was pretty ballsy of Square to do that back then. Like, that's like that's a big move because so many people love that character, and like I feel like if a game company tried to do that nowadays, they would just get like, oh, you killed my favorite character, you're a fucking piece of shit, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. But back then, like, people respected it more. I don't know. I feel like gaming has come a long way from like people respect video games more now, but because everyone loves it, there's way more crybabies that bitch about every little thing.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like this like double-edged sword here right there. But like back then, like it was like people loved it. Like they hated it because they lost one of their favorite characters and like all the shit that happened.
Feeling
but
the
you respected the decision. Yeah.
That's a good
like
thing.
They respected that.
They wanted you to be sad.
That's like and they wanted, like, that was the thing for a lot of people, that even though Sephiroth is like a lot of people's favorite villain and he's really cool, that was one of the things that was like, oh shit, fuck this guy, I want to beat his ass. And like that put it over the edge. Like, yeah, he's cool, yeah, I like him, but if he just did that, fuck that dude, I want to fucking murder him. So
Angie.
Very angry.
Very
that for me, like that alone, and how much like it changed a lot of things. Like I want to put it in S because I just feel like it was that.
I'll do it
again.
I'll do it.
And again, I am the leader of a group. Fucking Final Fantasy VII is overrated as fuck.
Yeah, what? Can we call it overrated for putting it in S tier?
Yes, because people consider it the greatest game of all time.
Well,
and it's nowhere near that. That is overrated.
I'm giving it.
It is an S tier game. It is an S tier game that is still overrated because people think it's the greatest game of all time.
I'm giving it bonus points because Kenny Omega.
You know what? Fair. One Winged Angel's a sick fucking move.
And you know what? So I had to explain this to. We were watching AEW Friday, or I can't remember what day, but we were talking about like why Kenny's a big deal because Tina thinks he looks dumb with his mullet and whatever. I was like, yeah, but he's a big deal, and the biggest deal is because when he hits his finisher, the match is over. Like, and that's such a rare thing. Like, if he hits it,
very few people who have ever kicked out of the One Winged Angel. I think it's like a list of like 3 people.
But like,
and they were all in his like giant 5 and 6 star matches.
Right. And like the thing is, he's protected, and I'm like, you know what? That's cool ass. He wins. So
it's funny. So Beef Hammer. He I don't know if you know this, but he's also a professional wrestler.
I don't even know who he is. I'm gonna be honest with you.
When I was doing Final Fantasy 14, the other guy that was
streaming yeah. Sorry, Beef.
Yeah, he's also a professional wrestler, and his finishing move was the beef curtain.
Of course.
And it was
just
the
one
wing.
Very immature wrestling moves and names and groups. The wet dream, and the fucking beef curtain.
And it was literally just the One Winged Angel, pretty much. It was a little variation on that.
You can't do that. That's illegal.
Gross. I mean, it was a variation. It's fine.
The One Winged Angel's not exactly an original move, is it? Not really.
I don't know, honestly. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
I'm sure at this point it's almost impossible to come up with anything brand fucking new in wrestling.
That's fair. So
someone's done something at some point.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah, no. 7. Most overrated Final Fantasy, but at the same time still an S tier Final Fantasy.
So we don't have. This is only a main series list. I almost want to go find Crisis Core. Have you played Crisis Core or no?
Which one's Crisis Core?
Where you play Zack?
Is that no? I haven't played that one. I played the Pew Pewer.
I don't what.
There's a Final Fantasy 7 one that's
PS2
a shooter.
Game. Yeah, on PS2.
Yeah, I played that one. That one is a solid C+, but fun as fuck.
Because you're Vincent, right? Vincent's cool as hell. Vincent, is he a bonus character in that game? Like, you don't have to get him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bonus character just like Yuffie.
I got him, and he's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
We should do a Final Fantasy 7 character list, because Vincent's fucking double S, bro.
Dude, that's literally why I got the fucking Dirge of Cerberus, that's what it's called. I got that just because I was like, this dude's cool as fuck, and we get to fucking shoot people. Let's go.
Cool.
And honestly, like, the game's not the greatest, but it is a fun game, and that's all that matters. Like, it's a solid C+. You're going around pew-pewing motherfuckers, and it's great.
Pew-pew. Just like I pew-pew. Vincent being dark as shit is just great.
But no, I actually have never played. I never played Crisis Core, honestly.
Deal. 8 Aaron, this is all you. I don't know anything about 8.
Oh, don't put it to all me because I want to put an S tier. It's my second favorite. It's my second favorite Final Fantasy, bro.
Can you really call it S tier? I haven't played it, so I'm just gonna rag on people that love it that much because I heard it's bad, but I'm only going by hearsay.
All right, so
it's up to you.
Final Fantasy 8 is divisive as fuck. You either love it or you hate it. I have not found someone who's like, it's aight. So Final Fantasy 8 has issues. I'm not gonna lie. The story is a bit all over the place. There's 2 fan theories that one of them's like low-key been confirmed as true by the developers who made the game.
You just say it. I mean, look, we're spoiling everything here.
Well, so one fan theory is the Squall is dead theory. Main character dies at the end of disc 1, and the rest of it is his like dying dream or whatever. Mm-hmm. I hate that one.
Why?
Because that makes me feel like the rest of the game is pointless.
Yeah. So Super Mario Brothers 2, what's your point?
I just don't like it, so I disagree with it. Also, that's not the one that people have like the developers have basically confirmed is true. Plus, it's a world full of magic and crazy things. So yeah, he got stabbed by a bunch of ice magic. He can be healed anyways. Like it's fine.
Well,
it's
then in that case, Aerith should have came back from the dead with a phoenix down. So what's your point?
She could have, but that's why Final Fantasy 8's better.
Because Cloud drowned her ass. Because Cloud is a fucking murderer. She wasn't dead. Cloud was just like, no. She also wasn't bleeding when she got stabbed, so she was clearly fine. So Cloud fucking was like, yeah.
I am so ready for that scene in the remake, though. Because, like...
I thought it should have happened, no? Because that was all disc 1.
I don't know. I haven't played the remake.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, like, I'm just excited to see what that looks like in the remake, because that's got to be pretty great. Anyways, the other one is, so one of the main girls in the game, like, the main character's love interest is Renoa. Mm-hmm. And then the main villain at the end is some random time-traveling witch named Ultimacia.
Yep. Sure.
And the other theory is Renoa is Ultimacia in the future. There's a lot of things that kind of like hint to that with like they have some of similar magic. Squall has like this like lion because his last name is Leonhardt or some shit like that.
Lionheart, maybe?
No, it's like Leonhardt. It's not even lion, but like his logo and everything is like a lion, and he's like this lion pendant.
Lionheart.
And Ultimacia has like a lion, like basically like a pet, and then also has that pendant. So people say that there's other things, and basically people say that like Renoa went crazy after Squall died and was time traveling to try to get him back, but lost her mind in the process because magic is magically like fucking crazy bullshit.
Okay.
There's a lot more to it. I'm really, really dumbing it down here. Well, there's a couple things that the developers did and said that kind of make it seem like either it's true or they kind of liked it when they heard it and latched onto it. Mm-hmm. Because one or two of the developers were like, we're not saying that it's true, but... And then in Final Fantasy Dissidia, the fighting game...
Yep.
Ultimacia is voiced by the same person that voices Renoa and everything now. Ooh. And then also there was I can't remember exactly, but there was other things in Dissidia that they made that literally was like the same moves and the same other bullshit as Renoa. So they kind of like they kind of latched onto it, and I think they're really pushing that, which I think I don't want to believe either of them because I played it back before I even knew about those, and I'm a purist piece of shit asshole. But if either of them are true, I definitely would prefer that one. It is a cool idea, honestly. But no, I love Final Fantasy VIII. I'm a sucker. So here's the thing: I'm a sucker for love stories. Okay.
As by this thumbnail.
What?
But the art, I'm pointing. You can't see the art on this.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, so like, and I love the Renoa Squall love story. One of my favorite songs in all of Final Fantasy is a waltz. which is like I don't know if you know what a waltz is, but it's literally called Waltz for the Moon.
It's a Cantina song, right?
Anyways, it's a dance song. Honestly, it's for dancing. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite songs is in that game. The game is 10 times better looking than Final Fantasy VII. It doesn't take much, but like with the time that it came out and everything, it was like it's a fucking beautiful game. I don't know. There's not much that I dislike about it. I like the fact that like the magic system is complex and simple at the same time. You can have no understanding of it and still beat the game, or you can know it well enough that you can break it within the first like fucking hour of the game, where like the rest of the game's easy as fuck.
But experience doesn't matter. Am I wrong?
Yeah. So like
that's why people
it really like it doesn't like I. But the thing is, you can do that, but you can also play it normal. Like you don't have to break it. Like that's literally just like. There's so many games where you can break the game in the first fucking, I don't know, like Fire Emblem. I can break that game, like half of them within the first like hour of playing, and then the rest of the game's easy if I wanted to. But that's not fun, so I don't do it.
Right.
But it's possible, and I think that's really cool. I think the magic system's cool, where like, I kind of feel like Final Fantasy 15 drew some of the magic system from Final Fantasy 8, where like you draw magic power from certain spots and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot I love about it. There's issues with it, but like for me personally, it's an S tier game. It is one of my top 15 favorite games of all time. You can put it in A, but
no, it's I can't even say anything against it. I don't have anything, so I gotta go with what you said.
So for me, it is my second favorite Final Fantasy and one of my top 5 probably top. In my opinion, it's the second best Final Fantasy to me.
Okay.
But I also never played 9, so 9's going to be all you. And like I know I personally, unlike people who are fanboys of all their favorite like Final Fantasy games, I know there's issues with the game. I just love it regardless.
Okay. Now I got to do speech on 9.
9's all you, bro, because I haven't played it. I have it installed on my PS4 and my PS5, and I still haven't played it.
You should install it on your Xbox Series whatever now, because it's on Game Pass. So there.
Yeah, but I don't get to play that. Nitra's taking over that system.
Stop being dumb. 9, I can't remember if I put 9 in S or A. It's feeling more A tier to me right now. Zidane is just a cool character because it went back to that little chibi look. Everyone was like real inviting, and like the game took itself seriously, but like there were enough comedic little points in it. Like, oh, what's the knight's name? What's the knight's name? I want to say Stella. It's not that.
I said the only character I know in that is Vivi, and it's because of Kingdom Hearts.
Well, Vivi is like your stereotypical black mage, and the whole story revolves around like how he's a clone, and like, am I even real? Like, what's the point of my life?
Yeah.
What's the knight's name? It starts with an S. Can't remember. Steiner, because I should have known that, because Scott Steiner. Anyway, but like he's so funny, and he's like the overbearing guard who just wants to do whatever, and he's such a yes man for the queen, who is definitely not Tifa. Shut up, it's not Tifa. I know it looks just like Tifa.
Shut up, it's not Tifa.
But like the whole game is just really cute and adorable. Like it has its serious points, it has its funny points. There's a character named Quina who it doesn't know if it's male or female, but like it doesn't really matter, and it just eats all the powers. And I thought that it was really useful. So every character
the main
felt
reason
different.
No, go ahead, continue. I thought
that was it. Really, every character feels different, and that's why I like it.
I was so I've heard nothing but good things about this game. I know it's probably one of like a top Final Fantasy game. Like it's a good game. I didn't play it when I was younger because I had just finished 8 and 9 was there, and I was like, yo, 8 looks so cool. It's like this love story, like fucking characters look real. And then you look at 9 and I'm like, why the fuck? That's so childish.
Yeah,
I'm this 9 is really mature. I'm this mature 7th/8th grader. Whoa. I don't want to play no dumb childish game. I like my Final Fantasies really mature.
Yeah, but like 9 is also a love story.
Yeah, but like you gotta think of it as a dumb middle schooler. I was looking at it like, yo, I just played Final Fantasy 8. This game is so much better looking. Why the fuck would I want to go to play that shit looking game? Because I was just so cool and mature at the time.
Listen, 9 is wonderful. I have to.
But no, that's the reason I never played it when I was younger. Is because I didn't like the art style. I didn't like the way it looked, so I never played it. Where did I put 9? 9 I put in A tier. So that works out. I couldn't remember if it was in S or A. Yeah, so. But it's A for overall, but compared to the Final Fantasy series, is it still A or would you put it to S?
Let me see what's left coming up.
I see at least one more S tier game that we have not put up there yet.
Well, personally. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at A.
Would you put it above or below 4?
Oh, above.
You know what? Move 8 down. I think 8 and 9, from what I hear, are about same level. So I'd put it 8 above 4. Put it above 4, below 9.
Deal.
I haven't played 9, but I feel like they're pretty much same level. And the only reason I didn't like 9, well, I can't say I didn't like it, I never played it. The only reason I didn't want to play 9 when I was younger is because I didn't like the art style. I have it installed because I need to play it. That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to do the thing with Chris before, is because 9, there's a few Final Fantasies that I haven't played in a while.
Just do it. 9 is honestly like a more refined 7.
Like, I'm down to do it. I have, like I said, I installed on my PS4. I have it installed on my PS5 now because I want to play it. I just finding the time to sit and play it with all the other games I play and want to play. It's just
drop them all. That's what you do. Drop them all and play them.
I'm not dropping Tokyo Xanadu. That game is too fun, and it's basically Persona.
Cool. All right,
Aaron, basically Persona.
Let's just do it.
Number 1, top of S tier. Fuck what everyone says.
10 is fucking great. I love 10.
10
as linear as it is.
Linear to a point.
Yeah, to a point.
I mean, once you get the spaceship, there's a whole bunch you can do. But like it was meant to be that way. Like it was like linear is. So my issue with linear is when linear is good if there's enough stuff in the linear where you're not feeling like, oh, this is just I'm walking down a hallway like apparently 13 is. Yes. 10 is a linear path. But that's because you're on a pilgrimage. That's a single path there. Like right. It's linear, but each area has its own thing that's open for you to go do. Like the different towns you can run around when you get into the bigger towns. The Thunder Plains, like it's very linear, but there's little side things you can do. There's little caverns you can go explore. There's so much in the world. There's the story. The fucking story is amazing. The characters are wonderful. Even the characters that I don't like have enough stuff about them that they're good characters. I just don't like them. Like Waka. I fucking hate Waka, but he's a good character.
He's but even like the party I normally rolled with, I rolled with like Lulu, Titus, and I switch out Orin or fucking Kamari.
I hated using Kamari, but like Kamari was cool because you could make him anything. So like when it first came to the US, we had our own version of the Sphere Grid where everything was basically locked and like everyone had their like singular path, which is cool because like everyone had their role in the party.
Right.
I like the newer versions of the game with the international release because like you can literally make Yuna
you make
Titus
more if you want, yeah.
Yeah, like because like you can literally just go anywhere. I still generally follow their like roles at first, and then just kind of like do offset shoots if I want certain things, and then go back on the roll. But like, I like the Sphere Grid. I think the Sphere Grid's cool as fuck.
It was confusing as fuck for a while, but then I learned it, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
I get what's going on.
I like it because it's different. It's so much different than everything else. At the time at least. Like
I need caffeine.
They took chances. Like I'm so glad I had my cup of coffee.
Oh, I need more.
Thanks, Anitra. Like they took chances. They did all kinds of shit with the game, but like it was just amazing. Like the villain you wanted to kill because he was a fucking greasy douchebag. Like but then there was also like the main over the top villain, and there was like all these little twists and turns throughout the story, and I don't know. There's a reason it's literally my top 2 favorite games of all time, and it was my favorite game of all time for most of my life. Like it's just I can go on about how amazing that game is. Also, I have to say it anytime Final Fantasy X gets brought up. Anyone who says the voice acting is bad can literally fucking kill themselves.
You saw
that
one
fucking
out of
context
scene.
That fucking laugh scene was meant to be like that because he's literally trying to cheer her up. It was supposed to be stupid. If you can't get that through your dumbass head, I hope you jump off a fucking cliff.
Okay. Right.
I get very angry about that because people are fucking
I won't
stupid.
lie. I used to be in that camp, and then I played it. I was like, oh, that makes all the sense in the world. Never mind.
Literally, if like out of context, I get it. It seems like, oh my god, they're such bad actors. Oh my god, the voice acting is bad. No, the voice acting is really fucking good, especially for the time it came out. Like that is around the time when voice acting started becoming more serious and better. Especially in video games, they stopped with "you're a Jill sandwich" or "you're almost a Jill sandwich." Oh, Barry.
Oh, Barry. We're about to die.
They were getting out of all that. Like, this voice acting is really good. There's some issues in it, but like that laugh scene is very emotional and means a lot if you actually see it in context. Like, it makes sense, especially seeing you personally. Like, actually, at that point, you don't even know. Like, at that point, it's even like, I think it's even more impactful on a second playthrough, or if you know ahead of time that Yuna's pilgrimage at the end, she's supposed to die, and everyone there knows it except for Titus. So like, I think it makes it even more impactful that like, oh shit, she knows at the end. Like, so much of their conversations on a second playthrough make more sense, and like what she says and how she acts makes so much more sense when you're like, oh shit, she knows she's gonna die at the end of this. But he doesn't, and that's why he says some of the stupidest shit ever. But at the time, it doesn't seem stupid because he doesn't know.
Right. So,
yes, I can rant about that all day. I hate everyone who says it.
All right, 11, Aaron.
I never played 11.
Great, me either.
But
it's an MMO.
But I heard it's actually really good. I'm cool with putting an unknown, but I would assume it's pretty B tier for after playing 14 because I heard it was just as good as now, not original release 14, now 14, which is good. Yeah. Original release 14 was trash.
It was trash.
But that wasn't 100% their fault. Oh, we skipped 10-2.
Oh, we did skip 10-2. 10-2, 10-2. There it is. Up to you.
Oh, yeah, you've never played it, have you?
Mm-mm.
I think it's a solid B tier game.
Better than 1?
You could put 1 ahead of it just because 1's 1.
Okay. DDR girls.
I love 10-2. Most people who hate 10-2 have either never played it or hate women. That's pretty much what it is.
Jeez.
They're like, oh my god, a woman can't be the main character of my favorite game. Fuck this game.
Unless you play Bayonetta and you're like, yeah, she takes her fucking clothes off, man.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, honestly, no, like 10-2 is a really good game. I had issues with it at first because I don't prefer like the active time battle bullshit. Like, I prefer real turn-based games. But like a bunch of the Final Fantasies have the active time battle. Like, people who use that as an excuse why it's bad, like, okay, so 7's bad, 8's bad. I know both of those have the active time. Yeah. Like, what do you want? So
I like turn-based better, but that's me.
I do too, but like if your reason for saying 10-2 is bad is because of the active time gauge battles, I guess 7's bad then, right? You don't like 7 because it's a very similar combat. Right. I think the dress sphere was a cool idea where you could change your class mid battle via the dress sphere.
I don't know. You could say anything and I believe you.
So basically, there's multiple different dress spheres or dress grids where like there's like 2 up to, I think one had like 6 or 7 little slots, and your jobs were based on the spheres you found. Like, you found certain spheres that had certain jobs in them. So like the dancey one is a dancer, obviously, or actually I think it was called songstress, but like there's the white mage, there's samurai, black mage, whatever. And each like grid, you would put what jobs you wanted your characters to use on it. And then you could switch between them in the middle of the battle. And if you switch between all of them, each character had their own like ultimate fucking form. And if you switch to all of them in the battle, you could then switch to the ultimate form for the character. And like it can be very basic if you want it to be, or you could make it very intricate and like fucking be able to have like all these different strategies with it. I like the way you learn skills. You learn skills the same as Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, which is the more you do skills with that dress sphere, you'd learn more skills in that dress sphere. I like that. And Lord of the Rings: The Third Age is basically Final Fantasy X, but Lord of the Rings, which is why I love that game. It's not as good, but it's like a Lord of the Rings version of that game. Like the story is kind of silly a lot of times. Like there's a lot of weird things in the story, but like the main story overall, if you can get past the silliness of the game, is really good. Like you're on a mission to find Titus, basically. She finds a sphere that looks like Titus's prison somewhere. You find out later it's not Titus. But like, and I mean, if you really look at it, you can tell it's not him, but it's a very similar
looking character.
And you go through a whole thing. What?
No, I was saying it's a similar looking character. You're saying.
Yeah. And like, there's a whole good story. Some people get mad at like the random songs in the middle of it, like, cause there's a couple spots where songs, but like it fits the story. I actually love the songs that are in the game. I think like I own the Final Fantasy X-2 like ultimate soundtrack on CD that I got in like beginning of high school. Like I don't know. I honestly think that people literally hate this game because it was marketed more for girls.
Weird marketing campaign.
Yeah, and like they just haven't given it a shot. Like I'm not saying this is like the greatest game ever. It's not. There's definite issues with it, but it's a good game. It's fun. If you like go in there and just play it and try to enjoy yourself, try to take the combat for what it is. I enjoy the combat in it. I enjoy the dress sphere. I think there's little changes I would have made, but like it was different. I like that like Square is willing to take chance and try different things with their games. And I don't know. I think it paid off. I think it's really good. I think it's a solid B tier game. I really enjoy it. And anyone who hates it without ever trying it, jump off a cliff with the people who laugh at the laughing scene in 10.
So aggressive with that.
If you don't like it after trying it, that's cool. But fucking try the game first. That's all I'm asking.
All right. 12. I haven't played 12, and honestly, I don't know anyone that talked about 12 until it got remastered randomly.
So, 12 is another, for me, high B tier game. Okay. I'd put it above 1.
Whoa.
The first time I played it, I hated it, but it's because, like, that's when they started going more into enemies on the map, not turn-based, open world, and I wanted turn-based for my Final Fantasy, whether active or real turn-based, damn it. Angie. I didn't want this shit.
Angie.
Grrr.
Angie.
But like going back to it, it's a good game. Final Fantasy 15 definitely took a lot from it with like the open world stuff. You can tell like Final Fantasy 15 is a very refined 12. 12 has a lot of really good characters, a lot of really bad characters. It's a mixed bundle, honestly. Like I think some of the best characters in the franchise came from 12, and some of the worst characters in the franchise came from 12. The story's cool. It's nothing crazy, but it's nothing like it's not bad. I just think it's a good game. Honestly, I think it's another one that, especially now with the remaster that fixed some of the like, and like the basically like the international release type thing, that fixed some of the little issues with the game. It's definitely something to give it a shot. Like it's fun. I had fun with it. I own the good version on PlayStation now because Anitra wants to play it. So
PlayStation.
I think it's a good game.
Come on, nerd. Let's see.
PlayStation Now, not like the PlayStation, not yeah.
As in PlayStation currently.
Yeah.
Okay. 13, fucking right there.
I personally put it in D because I don't think any Final Fantasy game's an F.
This wasn't a Final Fantasy game. This is a Final Fantasy movie where I hit X once in a while. I was so bored. I gave it a fair shot because my biggest the thing when we played it for Game of the Quarter once, and
God damn it,
go as long as you can hear me. I don't give a shit. Or no, you didn't. Anyway, fucking we started playing. We did 10, and then I was like, okay. Everyone's complained about 13 that I knew was that the game was so linear, it was boring. I personally thought Final Fantasy X was linear as hell. So I was like, okay, if that's the biggest issue, maybe I'll like it. And goddamn it, it was literally just walking up, and it was just walking and walking. And then my friend was trying to tell me like, in 10 hours the game is good, and I was like, that's way too fucking long for a game to get like be entertaining. I'm sorry.
I agree. So I agree with like your argument of if it takes your game 10 hours to get good, your game's not good.
No,
like,
it's not.
For fuck's sake, I don't give a song more than 20 seconds to catch me before I like it. If your song doesn't catch me in the first 20 seconds, my first listen, I'm most likely never listening to your song again.
Yeah.
If your movie doesn't catch me in the first 20 minutes, I'm most likely not watching that movie ever again. If your TV show doesn't catch me in the first episode, I'm never watching your TV show again.
First episode is rough because like the pilot season's always like a little rough.
I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for something to hook me.
Okay.
So like there's a TV show, like there's an anime called Black Clover. I haven't watched it yet because Anitra and I are going to watch it together. But the first episode was kind of like the most bland thing and like most like, oh, this is basic anime throughout 80% of the first episode. But then at the end of the first episode, there was a little twist that I was like, ooh, that's sick. I want to watch more.
Okay.
That's all it takes. I need something to hook me.
Okay, that's fair. 13 had nothing.
That's why I feel like that's why I haven't tried 13 yet. Because I've heard the same thing as you, like, oh, you have to play this long. And I love Final Fantasy so much, I'm a dumbass that'll probably push through and beat the game because I'm stupid.
Try it, but like I'm telling you.
But I agree with you that like if it takes your game 10 hours to get good, it's not good. Like that's been my biggest problem with Persona up until 5. I mean, granted that 5 was the first one I played, so I got lucky. But playing the older Personas now, like if I didn't know how good they get because of Persona 5, like Persona 4, like you almost quit Persona 4. I probably would have quit Persona 4 if I played it first because like the beginning is boring.
Yep.
I get it setting up shit, but like you do nothing.
Yeah.
Persona 5, at least like in the first 30 minutes, you go in and start like one of these cool palace heists, and then it gives you 2 hours of exposition.
Right. But at least like, okay, I'm in.
This is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, this is cool as fuck. I like this part.
Yeah.
Let's do the 2 hours of exposition bullshit, and then we'll get back to this. Okay, fine, I'm hooked. You hooked me. You hooked me at the beginning, and that's all I want. I need something to hook me. And from what I hear, 13 doesn't have anything like that.
In fact, there's no fight button. Also,
Anitra played Final Fantasy 13. That was her first ever Final Fantasy. That's why she hasn't played any other since.
Terrible.
I'm finally getting her to try some. Pretty much I heard the characters are pretty bland. Like the black dude's literally just there to be generic funny black guy.
Yep.
Like pretty much it's just bad. That's what I hear. But what sucks and why I want to play it is I heard the sequels are really fucking good.
I've heard the third one is good.
I heard the second one is solid, like actually like a solid B tier game, and then the third one is really fucking good.
Right. So why do you need 3 of them though? I don't care how long your story is. Like if your first game was bad, generally considered bad, whether or not it ended up being good, it's widely considered to be bad. Then you have a redemption arc in 2, maybe. All right, okay, 13-2 was good, guys. Like, and then you're really pushing it with 3 games in a numbered what?
I think it was just the timing of when. So 13 came out. Even though it was a bad game, it blew up because a lot of like common, like not common, but like non-Final Fantasy fans. Like casual's kind of a word to use, but not in the negative sense of like you filthy casual, but like just a casual fan.
Yeah.
Or like a casual RPG fan. Like RPGs at the time 13 came out were starting to get big.
Right.
So 13 as like under like sales wise did very fucking well.
It went because it was the first HD Final Fantasy.
And then also there are characters in 13 that are apparently really good characters. Like they sprinkle in some really good characters on top of a lot of bullshit. So like a lot of people's favorite characters come from 13, even though the game's bad, there's good characters in it. And I think that timing mixed with like, I think it was like a change in the guard in Square. Like there was a lot of like moving pieces. The higher ups wanted more money, all that shit is why they started milking the franchise. And that's why it got 2 sequels when other games that are way more deserving of it didn't.
So I think when I see 13-2, I remember that getting announced. I was like, oh, they're doing it because like 10 was so big. Then they're like, hey guys, remember we thought that we sequel to Final Fantasy 13-2, and I was like, are they doing a meme here? Like I wasn't sure. And then 13-3 happened. I was like, all right, guys, stop. This isn't funny anymore.
No.
Like,
no, I think it's just like the timing of like different people in the company, them needing to make money, because I think 12 was kind of the opposite. 12 didn't do as well.
right.
And like 11, because it was an MMO, didn't do as well. Like a lot of people played it, but it didn't do as well, especially starting off. 12 didn't do that great, even though it's a solid game. But then 13 blew up, and they were like, okay, we need to cash in on this. And that's why it got 2 sequels. Also, thankfully, the sequels are better. But like, I'm still waiting for my 10-3. They set it up. They set it up in 10 in the international release of 10. What?
Happen, dude.
I'm waiting for it. 10-3. They set it up. Why would they fucking do that in fucking bullshit shit in the international release and not give me what I want?
I'm trying to find 10-3, which isn't alright. I see 10-2.
Fuck you, bro.
What? What did I do? This is a 10-3. I'm sorry. No. Sorry. 13-3.
That's lightning. It's 13 LR. Lightning
returns.
Returns.
Lightning. So we don't know. We don't know those.
Yeah, and then you also can add 4AF and 12RW as unknowns, because I've never played any of the spin-off that are considered main.
14. Speak.
14's an A-tier game, bro.
Okay.
I know it's an MMO. I know it was really bad. Like, if you're someone who played it when it first came out and haven't played it since, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But there was a lot of issues when it first came out, but there was also a lot of budget issues, a lot of other issues. They did not give that game any respect before it came out. But they did a complete overhaul of the game. And I just played through the main story, which I probably should have waited, because they just recently released something where like you can kind of like level boost and get through the main story easier instead of having to grind every so often, because there's a few times I had to grind to be a high enough level, but now you don't have to, which makes it even better.
Yep.
But the story's actually really fucking good. I was surprised. An MMO with a really fucking good story. If you like Final Fantasy, it's worth the play, especially if you can get like, so it's on sale all the time for the complete edition with all the not DLC, but all the expansion packs, because that's what MMOs are, for like $30, and it comes with like a free month trial. Because it's one of those subscription games, MMOs, yay. But you can beat the whole game in a month. Like, it's like, if you're just there if you just want to play the story and then play the expansions, you can spend $30, get the free month. Just make sure like you do it at a time when like you have time to play the game, and just spend the time playing the game, and you can beat the whole main story with all the expansion stories, which apparently each expansion gets better and better, because I haven't played the newest expansion yet. And yeah, like, it's actually really fucking good. I think it's an A-tier game. I don't know. I just think people need to try it. Like, if you don't like MMO, like, I don't like MMOs. I'm not a fan of MMOs, but I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. No, I don't at all.
I feel like you do.
If I'm going to give this.
Oh, where'd you go? Uh-oh. I lost Aaron. Aaron, can you hear me? Aaron! No!
100%. I feel like my internet only goes out when I'm in the middle of shit.
Of course it is. All right, Aaron, 15. Do you know anything about 15?
I love 15. 15's a good fucking game. I just restarted playing it again today, or like a couple days ago. I think it's a solid like high B, low A right now. I'd probably put it right now because I haven't played. So there was some issues the first time I played it, but the Royal Edition apparently fixed a lot of that with some updates and patches. So I haven't played that. That's the edition I'm playing now. Finally, I would put it between 14 and 4 probably right now.
14 and 4. I know nothing about it, so I'll go through that.
So a lot of people don't like it because it's completely different from like older Final Fantasies, but like change is fine as long as they do it right. The first time I played it, I felt like the combat was kind of Kingdom Heartsy, but it's really not. There's a lot more to it. I don't know how to explain it. So it's similar to 12 in that like it's open world with everything on the map, which I think they drew some influence from that. But like there's also other it's really hard to explain unless you just play it. Like the combat's weird but fun. The way you can like you have 4 weapons equipped at all time and you can change between them at any time, which change combat styles. Like there's these like warp zones to like regain your stamina and MP and stuff that certain battle areas have and certain don't. There's like you can like tell your teammates to do certain abilities, but then like a lot of the times they're fighting on their own. But you can like do tactics like in most games that puts them like what you want them to generally do. Like the combat's fine. I enjoy it. On second play, it's even more fun because like I'm kind of getting it more now. The story's fine. Like there's nothing like, oh my god, this is the greatest story of all time. But it's also not like, oh my god, this story sucks. I think it's an above average story. The characters so far, like they're great. I don't see any issues with the characters. I like making fun of them because it's 4 emo boys on their like
on a road trip to adventure.
Oh, it's actually on a road trip. Originally starts off on a road trip to get married. Yeah, the main character, like that's literally the game starts with you like you're on a road trip, so you can basically go get married because like it's a joining of kingdoms and shit. I actually like that there's cars and shit in it. There's cute little things like the car soundtracks. You can buy different soundtracks, and it has like you can get every single Final Fantasy soundtrack in the car.
That's pretty cool.
It has random things like randomly Tomb Raiders in it. One of the Tomb Raider soundtracks. Like other random things like that. You can just get it, and then there's like just random like that world music in the car too. The customization of the car is kind of cool. It's another one of those games where like you can just play the main story and be fine, but if you want, there's so much to do in the world that you can explore and do a bunch of other shit. It just depends on how you want to play your game. You and Anitra would just run through the main story because that's the way you guys play.
That's how I am. Exactly.
And me, I probably won't be a completionist because I'm not a completionist, but I'll do a lot more side shit because I like doing side stories. Like I'm not a completionist. I don't go for platinums. I don't go for like I need to see everything in the game, but I do like to see more than someone who just goes with the main story. I don't know. It's weird. I'm like an in between.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think the game's really good. I think if you're put off by the fact that it's so different, give it a shot. Like you can literally, like, if someone gets a PlayStation 5, it's part of the PS Classic thing where you can get it for free on the.
It's also on Game Pass.
I was literally going to say that next. It's on Game Pass. And then if you don't have either of those, it's literally $20 for the Royal Edition.
It's also a Pocket Edition, which is a little chibi version.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So
I heard it's like the same game, but it's like stripped down and like super streamlined.
Chibi. Yeah.
So yeah, try that.
But I definitely think it's actually. I can't say like it saved the series because it's fucking Final Fantasy. They can put out like 10 bad games in a row and they'll still probably be fine. But
is what it is.
I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think from 13 being bad, then 14's original release being bad, 15 had to be a good game, and I think they did a good job with it.
All right, we did it.
We go.
We did it. Nothing in D. We just went from C to F right away.
I personally probably would have put 13 in D.
No, you haven't played it. You don't get it. No, you have to play it.
But I know I do.
Yeah. All right, we did it, homies.
We did it. We did it.
Can't wait to edit that fuck show where Aaron cut out for a while. That's going to be fun.
At least it should be about similar time, and we can fucking.
I'll make it work. All right, Aaron, hit.
You can do it, shithead.
Stop. Oh, bye, everybody. I guess we should go first. Thanks, patrons. Bye.
Yeah, this is a patron episode for now.
I'll have to
until Kevin inevitably fucks up and can't record, and by that I mean me probably.
I'll have to.
Peace.